Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about an idea that just might make soulbound cards bearable. Pun intended here with this graphic. And I wanted to talk about this concept because it seems like, well, just like the battle of the bots, soulbound cards, the direction has been set and we're marching towards that, and it looks like it's going to become a reality. So if that is going to be the case and soulbound cards are coming to the game, well, I want to do my part and at least provide a suggestion or an idea on how to make, well, the concept of soulbound cards bearable or, reasonable here. And what I want to do is I want to take a concept from another play and earn game that you may or may not be aware of and talk about how it could be applied to Splinterlands soulbound reward cards and how I think the system could work pretty well. Now, the game in question that I want to talk about today, and I'm going to give you some examples of how it's used and how it can be used in Splinterlands, happens to be Gods Unchained. Now, we go into Gods Unchained here. This is a blockchain play and earn game. If you're interested in it, you can see a link in the video description below on how to play this game. But this game is a card-based game similar to Hearthstone on the blockchain, and we're in this game right now. And these are some of the cards that I have in my collection here on Gods Unchained. What I want to highlight here specifically is look at this card Monsterize as an example. Now, the card Monsterize here with this kind of crimson border or this reddish brown border, this is a NFT-based card, meaning it's on the blockchain, it can be sold, it can be traded, it can be transferred, and it's fully NFT-based. However, this other Monsterize card here on the right here with this gray border is actually a soulbound card in Gods Unchained. So this soulbound Monsterize card here is one that I've earned just by playing the game on a daily basis. You get it in packs that you get for free just by playing the game, and that's fine, it's soulbound. But how do you get to this meteorite version or this NFT version of the card? Well, let me show you. Basically, the Gods Unchained game has a concept called the Forge, where you can go into the Forge here and you can basically take any of the cards that you've earned just by playing the game for free, these soulbound cards. All these gray cards here are soulbound as an example. And we can go in here and just pick one. Actually, I want to pick one that I just picked up yesterday. It's Umber Arrow here. Basically, we can pick Umber Arrow. We can see I have 8 of these soulbound cards. In this particular case, I can click 2 of them, and basically I can fuse them here in the game to take 2 of these cards, plus basically some tokens or currency in the game that I earn by just playing the game itself. This happens to be the God token, and this happens to be Flux. It's not really relevant to Splinterlands, but basically the concept is you take 2 soulbound cards, you fuse it here in the Forge, and then by doing so, it exchanges these 2 soulbound cards plus essentially this this Flux here, and it creates an NFT. It mints the NFT on the blockchain, which I can then sell, trade, or transfer. Now, this is interesting because from a Splinterlands perspective, the way I could see soulbound cards being actually bearable is if you earn soulbound cards as reward cards by playing the game in the future. What if by Splinterlands standards you took an X amount of soulbound cards, whether it's 2 or whatever that happens to be, and you used vouchers to fuse them and make them NFT based minted cards for Splinterlands, basically using vouchers to forge or fuse soulbound cards to make them sellable. This could be a way to basically have the best of both worlds. Basically, you are able to combat bots by making them not be able to farm reward cards and dump them on the market right away. Because basically for bots to take these reward cards, these soulbound reward cards, and bring them into the market to sell them, well, they would have to have vouchers. And how do you get vouchers? Well, you have to stake SPS. And we know probably for the most part that bot farms and bot accounts aren't staking their SPS. And if they are staking SPS, they're not keeping it in the game or earning a lot of it. So they're not going to be minting or forging a lot of soulbound cards into sellable cards. So from this perspective, what it does is twofold. It helps combat bot farms dumping cards onto the market by making them soulbound to start with. And it also creates a voucher sink, which basically adds value to vouchers and inherently also adds value to SPS by making a voucher sink here to burn or create soulbound cards on the blockchain. So from this perspective, again, I think this is an easy way how Splinterlands could take the soulbound card concept and actually make it viable and bearable for the community. So what do you think? Could Splinterlands take this idea from Gods Unchained, the Forge and Fusing, and make this possible in Splinterlands? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, keep stacking those stats.
That's entertainment.